Tonight, health authorities concerned over potential undetected COVID cases in Broken Hill and a plan released to boost oral health care in rural South Australia.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. It's now been a week since Broken Hill had its last COVID case, but health officials are concerned there may be undetected cases in the community due to low testing rates. They're encouraging every local to get swabbed, introducing surveillance testing.
A sight health officials want to see more often. Locals lining up at Memorial Oval from opening, doing their part to sniff out COVID.
Just, don't second guess, particularly in the current environment. Get tested.
Broken Hill hasn't recorded any new cases since this time last week, but with testing rates dropping to as few as 40 per day, they can't be certain there aren't unknown cases in the community.
The more testing we do, the better the assurance that we're actually capturing any possible COVID-positive patients out there.
Locals don't need to isolate while waiting for results if they have no symptoms, aren't a casual or close contact, and everyone they live with is healthy. In an easing of local restrictions, visitors are once again allowed in our hospital. Patients can have 2 visitors a day, though they must be fully vaccinated and over the age of 12.
Our position has always been that if there's exceptional circumstances, we will absolutely review. We have to be compassionate in these times.
Meanwhile, South Australia is set to open another 93 hospital beds across Adelaide.
We're getting ready. We're getting COVID ready for when we lift those borders later in the year.
But still no roadmap to COVID normal. Lachlan Ittis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A new draft plan to strengthen the oral health workforce in rural and regional areas has been released for public consultation. It's aiming to support more than 220 people currently in the regional workforce while attracting new workers.
A plan to boost the regional oral health workforce.
It's a really positive step for oral health to be able to have its own dedicated plan.
Part of the state government's rural health workforce strategy, the draft plan identifying ways to support a sustainable rural workforce and improve the delivery of oral health care to regional South Australians.
Oral health has typically been something that has not been integrated as part of the broader health system, but also to highlight career opportunities to our youth in the regions, as this is a really positive career path for them to take, which will help hopefully integrate that workforce over the journey.
In a statement, Health Minister Stephen Wade says oral health has strong links to health and well-being, and it's important rural communities have access to high-quality care close to home. Also saying the strategy will play a key role in strengthening the future of the oral health workforce.
We're really looking for feedback from across the, not just the oral health workforce, but also from the general health workforce. So that consultation draft can be accessed via the SA Health website.
The draft plan is open for consultation until November 12. Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The RSPCA and Whyalla City Council have renewed calls for dog owners to get their pets vaccinated due to a parvovirus outbreak. Animal control officers in the city found a stray dog in a comatose state with the virus last Friday. According to the RSPCA, the Staffordshire Bull Terrier cross was then taken to the vet and euthanased. There have been 22 confirmed cases of parvovirus in the past week. The State Emergency Service is warning South Australians to secure loose items and clean up their properties with severe weather expected. The Bureau of Meteorology forecasting damaging winds and gusty showers across the west coast, Flinders and south of the pastoral districts. Other parts of the state expecting showers and thunderstorms, which may produce heavy rain and small hail. The SES also reminding residents to not drive through floodwaters and be mindful of where vehicles are parked. Alex Sykes will have more details on the weather later in the bulletin. Still to come tonight, 3 new rest stops set for the Air Highway and a multi-million-dollar proposal announced for a childcare centre in Broken Hill. Welcome back. Driver safety is set to be improved for travellers on the Air Highway, with 3 new eastbound rest stops now in the planning stages. In addition, the state government is trialling a new system, helping truckies find the nearest informal rest stop while out on the road.
It's a move to encourage more drivers to take a break while travelling on the air highway. 3 new eastbound rest stops now in the planning stages between Kimber and Iron Knob.
We're doing the planning works now for that to make sure, again, we have more designated stops. It's about managing fatigue and making our roads safer. That's why we're investing so much.
Delivered as part of a multi-million-dollar upgrade package for the A1 under the Roads of Strategic Importance initiative. It's not the only new program being conducted on our roads. Green reflector markers being trialled in the state to help drivers identify lesser-known rest stops on the highway.
This is an initiative that works in Queensland and New South Wales, and we're rolling it out here in South Australia. So there'll be a green marker, a 321 green reflector, in particular for trucks, to allow them to know where they might be able to pull over.
The technology gives drivers a visible countdown sequence within 500 metres of the rest stop. Currently, informal rest areas are not readily identifiable, especially for drivers unfamiliar with the route.
Fatigue is also an element here, so making sure trucks have got those stops, and there are a number of rest stops across our network, but having these ones as well, these secondary stops.
Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A company which specialises in childcare facilities has lodged an application to build a centre in South Broken Hill. While it's yet to receive approval, the company is already on the lookout for locals to operate it. Our reporter Lachlan Itter has more.
Under the proposal, this site at the corner of Clark and Rockwell Streets would be transformed into a centre to care for 71 children.
The other childcare centres are full. According to information that we have been provided, Broken Hill is a growing area.
Childcare identified as a major issue in attracting a workforce for future mining projects. Childcare Developments Group hopes its $1.4 million facility will help address those concerns.
It's going to be a larger one, of course. It's going to be a brand new centre, modernised.
A development application is currently on exhibition. The company hopes it'll be approved by Christmas.
Once the CC, which is construction, is approved, then we'll go out to tender and reach out to the local builders.
The site would need 20 centimetres of soil to be removed to deal with potential contamination. The group already on the lookout for a tenant to operate the facility when it's built.
We are looking for someone with an experience operating centre, or someone even has worked for other centres and wants to go out on their own.
It's hoped the centre will also provide an employment boost when its doors open, with 11 staff needed for it to operate.
Excitement is growing in Corn for the Rock the Ranges Music Festival this Saturday. Construction beginning today on the stage that will host various rock bands from across Australia.
Nothing can rain on this parade. Described as a once-in-a-lifetime show for the region, Rock the Ranges is pulling out all the stops.
An event raised and put together by John Simpson, one of our local guys, does it really well.
Crew and organisers today at Corntown Oval, mapping out the venue and setting up the first supports for the stage.
Today is our major setup, so we're creating the stage, putting all the roofing up and all that sort of stuff.
The rain making the process harder, but they say it is nothing they haven't seen before.
A lot of menu work, a lot of great crew behind me there doing that, and of course we're doing it in the wet, as we seem to always bring the wet weather when we're doing this stuff.
The weather forecast for the event on Saturday, a much nicer sunny 20 degrees, perfect for rocking out.
Plenty of good Australian rock and roll, and obviously, again, Eskimo Joe. I mean, who would have thought they were playing at the grand final just a couple of weeks ago, and now they're in the little town of Corn.
The Flinders Ranges Council thrilled about the excitement brought on by the upcoming event, saying tourists are already pouring into the town.
Lord knows the number of people we'd get if the borders were open, but I'm sure that we're going to have a great crowd there.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
It's the last chance for Whyalla residents to voice their opinions on a draft master plan for the foreshore redevelopment. The City Council says filling out the survey will help influence the direction and development of the project.
Making sure every resident has their say on a major development in the Steel City. The Whyalla City Council reminding people time is running out to complete a survey on the draft foreshore master plan.
It's important because we've taken them along the journey so far with our preparing our draft master plan, and now that it's out there, we want them to see it, we want them to review it and see that their ideas have actually made it to paper.
The draft plan has been available to the public for over a month, with thousands of residents already viewing it online and on Facebook. However, the council wants to translate social media hits into tangible feedback.
We want people to look at how they use all of those spaces and provide us some feedback of what's missing in those spaces, what they'd like to see in those spaces, how we can activate those areas.
Opinions sought on a number of proposals, including a cuttlefish-themed splash park and a path linking the CBD to the foreshore. There are a variety of ways residents can complete the survey, including through the council's website.
If you don't feel comfortable doing the survey and you want to give some face-to-face feedback, you can come into council or you can send us an email.
The survey closes next Monday. Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Port Pirie to host Australian of the Year recipients. And a golf carnival gets into full swing in Port Augusta. Hello again. Port Pirie Regional Council is set to host a public forum next month, bringing 4 Australian of the Year recipients to our region. Our reporter Katrina Musson has the story.
4 incredible people will stop off here in Port Pirie next month as part of the Australia Day Council of South Australia's Regional Tour of Honour. Port Pirie Regional Council excited to host Australian of the Year recipients at a local forum.
It is the first, and yes, I'd love to see more of them, so we'll just see how this one rolls, and can't wait.
Featuring the 2020 Australian of the Year, Dr James Mukey, this year's state winner Tanya Hosh, Young Australian of the Year Isabel Marshall, and senior state recipient Professor Richard Brueggemann.
We're looking at introducing those people to our Australia Day committee, and just going through the process of how do we get to this stage, and is there any ideas that we can do to make things better.
Mayor Leon Stevens says it's a great opportunity for local people to meet the recipients and pick their brains. Also saying he hopes to see more forums in the future.
It's one of the biggest honours you can get to be a Citizen of the Year, and wouldn't it be nice that you did actually have more of these rolling road shows where you actually get to meet some of these great people. So we're encouraged, looking forward to it.
The event will be held here at the Port Pirie Sports Precinct Function Centre on November 11. Anyone interested in attending is encouraged to book their ticket.
An acclaimed executive chef has landed in Port Lincoln, saying he's looking forward to utilising Eyre Peninsula's renowned seafood. Peter Teakle Wines appointing the award-winning chef while preparing for a busy summer.
A career spanning over 24 years and around the world, Lion & Label's new chef drawn to the job for one simple reason.
Primarily the seafood. Passionate chefs, sometimes ingredients can dictate to you where you go, and in this case it was the southern state seafoods.
The multi-award-winning chef moving down from Queensland, where he's been recognised for his culinary skills.
Fortunate enough just to be cooking what I love and get awarded for it with 3 two-hat restaurants and 1 one-hat restaurant.
As expected, seafood is at the fore of his new menu, while a strong Asian influence will be present throughout, including ingredients sourced from the restaurant's herb and vegetable gardens.
Southeast Asian influence, it's where I've been going in the last couple of years. It's where Australia's been going. It's our closest culinary influence. Lends very well to seafood.
While the degustation-style chef menu has proved popular with diners, Mr Jensen has another favourite.
But we'll do a Eyre Peninsula tasting plate and just showcase the best of what's in market that week.
Lion & Label is open from Thursday through to Sunday at Peter Teakle Wines. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Port Augusta golfers today braved the rainy weather for another day of their annual Golf Classic. The 5-day-long tournament seeing more than 900 rounds of golf played.
Teeing off for another day of friendly competition. Keen country golfers bringing their clubs to the local fairway for the annual Port Augusta Golf Classic. As one of the biggest golfing events in regional South Australia, organisers are thrilled that the event is going ahead.
Beautiful fairways, beautiful greens. It attracts a lot of visitors to Port Augusta just to come and play our course.
Originally set to take place in August, the Golf Classic was forced to reschedule after South Australia went into lockdown.
The weather's been a bit warmer, a bit more daylight, and I think people generally have really enjoyed it.
Being a business owner myself, we see an increase in trade from it, which is really good. Good chance to showcase the town for what it is.
Despite the ominous rain clouds overhead, plenty of golf was played today on day 3 of the event, with more than 132 golfers from 45 different clubs coming to play in today's tournament.
All the people that come from a variety of clubs, it creates a great atmosphere. It's nice to catch up with people.
The 5-day tournament set to conclude in an exciting way, with a car being offered up if anyone is able to pull off a hole-in-one.
The person that can get a hole-in-one on number 10, which is just right next to us here, they'll win a brand new Toyota Corolla.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll hear the top tips for fishing this weekend. And Alex Sykes will join us with the weather forecast. See you again soon. Welcome back. Looks like the rain will be clearing in some parts of the Spencer Gulf this weekend, ideal for our eager fishers. Let's hear from our experts from around the region with their tips.
Hi, Whyala's fishing tips this week. Land-based has certainly started to heat up around Whyala. Big yellowtail kingfish starting to show really good signs around the Point Lowly region. The best areas to work have been between the Point Lowly coastline and the Fitzgerald Bay coastline. Anywhere along those rocky points seem to be holding some good fish. Most of the fish have been holding up around the 20 to 30 kilograms. And out for the boaties, again, King George whiting, pretty much across all the shoals of Whyala. Some blue swimmer crabs starting to show in good numbers also.
G'day and welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Augusta, Jewel North. Well, it's basically back to July at the moment. It's raining and overcast and pretty cold here at the moment. There are some King George whiting, but they're still found further south down around Yatala Harbour and Chinaman's Creek and the bottom end of the Flinders. Some blue crabs are starting to turn up. The squid have all but gone at the moment, and there's some flathead getting caught out around the number 9 banks. Around the creeks you're getting salmon, and there's also a few snook getting caught on the troll as well. There's a lot of kingfish up around the top of the Gulf, basically just on near the exclusion zone where the new bridge is getting built and between the old bridge. So people have been trolling around there and getting some big kingfish. That's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
Welcome another week around the Gulf Fishing Tips. It's fantastic. We've had a little bit of rain coming through this week, so it'll be a great weekend out there in the boat. Woods Point is the tip for King George whiting. Head a little bit deeper, you'll find some nice King George whiting as the water gets a bit colder. There's still a few squid around the place, and there's a lot of crabs starting to turn up out at Port Davis. We come into the Port Pirie side. Third Creek patches are starting to fire a little bit. There's been some unusual catches there and also some tommies as well. And we also look at the berryweed around the horseshoe. You should be able to find a good feed of King George as well. Please have a look around and just see if there's any yellowfin whiting coming. They're very much due, and once the weather gets a bit warmer, they'll be here in abundance. So make sure you get your spots all ready to go. That's all we have this week. We'll see you next week.
G'day and welcome to this week's fishing tips in Port Lincoln. Starting up around Tumby Bay, the town jetty's been fishing pretty well. The guys up there have been getting a few squid off the town jetty at dawn and dusk, and there's also been a few garfish and tommies around there too. Moving down to Port Lincoln, there's been some good squid catches along the town jetty as well. The rocky points around Snapper Rocks and Snook's Landing have also been producing in the afternoons. Along the south coast, the salmon has still been really good. We fish up to 4 kilos down there. Inside Coffin Bay itself, the salmon trout have been going really well. There's been a few garfish starting to show up in there too, and Farm Beach has been reliable for the whiting. That's about it for this week. We'll see you again next week.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby, and good evening to you all. It was another wet one today with showers across most of the region, and keep the raincoat handy because it won't be easing tomorrow. I'll also have more details in just a moment on that severe weather warning. From 3 p.m. today, Woodnall was 18, Clare was 13 degrees, and Cooper Pedy was the only place to miss the rain. It was windy and partly cloudy there, a max of 21 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, Port Augusta and Port Lincoln were 16, Whyalla, Kadina, Cleve and Adelaide were all 15 degrees. Broken Hill and Port Pirie were 17. And peak gusts of up to 100 kilometres an hour is forecast for people in parts of Flinders, northwest pastoral and northeast pastoral districts. The severe weather is expected to ease later this evening. Taking a look at the satellite image now, areas of cloud across central and southern areas with a low and cold front are causing rain, showers and storms, locally intense. Clearer skies to the north due to a high pressure ridge. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas around 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swell 1 to 1.5 metres. As I said, showers again tomorrow. Port Lincoln will reach a high of 18, Cleve to top 19 degrees, and Woodner morning shower or 2 and 21. 20 degrees in Whyalla tomorrow. Port Augusta a shower or 2 and set to reach 21 degrees there, and Kadina showers easing with 19. Showers easing in Port Pirie, also a top of 19. It's set to reach a high of 15 in Clare, and Broken Hill will get to 19 degrees. Taking a look at that all-important weekend forecast now. Showers clearing on Saturday, except in Port Pirie and Adelaide, where they'll have a shower or 2. Port Augusta, Woodner and Broken Hill will top 21 degrees, sunny in Cooper Pedy 26. To Sunday now, sunny in Broken Hill and 24 degrees, partly cloudy conditions across the rest of the region. And a quick look at next week now, sunny weather forecast for Kadina, Cooper Pedy and Adelaide on Monday, Woodner mostly sunny and 32 the top. Well, not a bad forecast there for the weekend, and that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you, Ruby.
Great, thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Thursday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.